In order to appreciate the value of vertical development, we actually need to understand our body's stress response system. We all have a stress response system, and our stress response system's job is to view our world and interpret safe things as being safe and dangerous things as being dangerous. But unfortunately, during the course of our lives, because of the stress and even the trauma that we experience, our stress response systems generally go off kilter. Some people's more than others. And when our stress response system is off kilter, then what we start to do is we start to interpret safe things as being dangerous and dangerous things as being safe. Let me give you a couple of examples. In fact, one example would be something that I see with leaders. Oftentimes, leaders shut down the ideas and the suggestions of others. Right? Are those ideas and suggestions inherently dangerous to their well-being? No. But because their stress response system is off kilter, they interpret it as such. Or to use an example of dangerous things being seen as safe is maybe illicit drug use. Right? This is something, at least in the moment when they're taking the drugs, it feels safe and there's usually a purpose for it. But in reality, it's quite hazardous to their health. And so when we understand this, then it helps us to understand that what vertical development is all about is refining and improving our body's stress response system. In fact, we are upgrading our internal operating system so that we can more accurately perceive safe things as being safe and dangerous things as being dangerous, particularly in stressful situations. And so one of the biggest benefits of vertical development is it helps leaders to better navigate change, pressure, uncertainty, and complexity. These are oftentimes conditions that trigger our off-kilter stress response system. But if our stress response system isn't off-kilter, we don't get triggered by the stress of our environment, and we're able to navigate it more effectively. We're able to make better decisions. Because when our stress response system is activated and it's off kilter, oftentimes what we do in terms of decision making is we make decisions that are best for us or best for the short term, and not necessarily what is best for everybody around us or best for the long term. So hopefully this makes sense, and hopefully it helps you to see the value of vertical development. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, there's not incompetent leaders out there. Most leaders out there are quite competent. But there's also statistics that suggest that the majority of leaders have negative effects on those that they're leading. And why is that? Well, it's not usually because of big, great, grand gestures. It's usually because of small little things, small microaggressions, poor decision making at times, which are usually something that can be traced back to our underdeveloped or off-kilter stress response system. So if this is something that's interesting to you and you want to better vertically develop yourself or the leaders that you work with, let's have a conversation.